begin our session right now by introducing who Daniel Wong is. So I'm going to state 4 points to introduce who Daniel is. Number one is he's currently the Managing Director of CIC Environmental Services. We will go into what CIC Environmental Services is shortly. Number two is his past is probably one of the most colorful that I've met in Brunei. He was previously a Senior Vice President of JP Morgan. And for those of you like me who don't know anything about the financial industry, JP Morgan is, the largest investment bank in the world. As well as that, he was previously an Assistant CEO for BEDB, Brunei Economic Development Board. Daniel, the BEDB produced a lot of outstanding people. The Stanchart CEO is a BEDB alumni as well. And then, Daniel has a CPA, has a master's degree, has an honors in accounting and finance. Now, that's about all I have to talk about who Daniel is. We will have an hour to learn about Daniel, so I wouldn't go any further, but I'd like to talk a little bit about CIC environment. Now, as my information pamphlet stated, there are two main things. Number one is you do waste management services. Number two is you provide industrial solutions. Now, both of these acronyms are very foreign for me. And the fact that when I put in the word waste management services, I was a little bit worried, Daniel, because I didn't know how many people would be coming after seeing that. But the very fact that tonight, how many people we have already? I think 37 people. It shows that most people are not as ignorant as myself. Instead of me trying to explain what CIC Environment Service is, and I'll probably get it wrong anyway, I'd like to get it from the host mouth.
Right.
So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about what your company does?
Well, basically, CIC Services, Environmental Services, is we are hazardous waste service management company, right? That's involved in terms of treating, recovering, recycling of hydrocarbons and other type of hazardous chemical waste, as well as effluent water, meaning produced water. Okay, mainly for the oil and gas industry, but over the course of last 20 years, we actually expanded into servicing governments, both industry and non-industry, such as school, university.
Oh, even schools?
Yeah, we do.
Right, what do you do for them?
Well, if you look at school, they produce a lot of waste from the lab. Okay, all these chemical waste are, after you test it or trial, it produce a lot of toxic. Okay, those need to be handled properly and treated properly before it get disposed of. So
you don't just dump it into drain?
No, we can't. I mean, there's a stringent guidelines both from the local governments as well as from the regional as well as international government, so-called authority.
Right. Sorry, before I rudely interrupted you, can you continue on what CIC does, please?
Yeah, that's I give you in one short paragraph.
Okay.
What we do.
How about the part on industrial solutions? What exactly does it mean?
Industrial solution is actually a prequel to the waste management services. Okay, industrial solutions are pretty much like the cleaning part mostly. Okay, where we actually look into various type of like heavy equipments where because of the regulation, because of audit, they're required to be clean and maintained properly. And few examples like we use steaming, we use flushing, cleaning decontaminations, certain part involve mechanical assembly or disassembly, equipment removal, all the cutting of steel pipe, structures, scrappings. We can get into it. There's a long list of industrial solutions that we provide.
Right. So a little bit of background about CIC Environmental Services. I know that you guys have close to 200 employees right now, of which majority are Bruneian. How many percent? 95% of the workforce is Bruneian.
Currently, it's about 97.
Oh my God. You know, people say Bruneian cannot work. You know, help me to debunk the myth, but you know, it seems to be a thriving organization. You know, something must be right there. Let's start with this, yeah? You know, how do you get the best people to work for you?
Well, obviously the waste management, the moment when people talk about waste, they get put off because that's not what they want to know, right? But unfortunately, this is actually a larger part of the whole entire ecosystems. All businesses produce some kind of waste one way or another. And if let's say the ecosystem get jammed up, you know, you're going to sort of create a lot of upset in terms of both environment as well as it increases a lot of unnecessary headache as well as the cost for the businesses. So hence, when we think about all these, it's a unsexy, no doubt, but it's absolutely vital part of the whole entire ecosystems.
Right.
And so much so that it becomes a very sustainable type of business that we are in. Because if we fail, which we believe, you know, if let's say most of these waste management company fail, the whole entire so-called nation will suffer as well, one form or another, because you have no way to treat or dispose your waste.
So it's a bit like indigestion, isn't it?
Correct. we used to
a lack of better analogy, Daniel.
Correct, because one of our customer is actually the oil and gas industry. They used to call us as the toilet bowl cleaner. If let's say the toilet bowl get jammed out, the whole entire family will get upset.
So there's an element of truth in that, you know, in application to your business.
Oh yes.
Yeah, Daniel, I don't think you hear my question properly just now.
Right.
You know, yes, I'm interested in what waste management is, but really, what I was curious about is, you know, you have 195 staff, 97% of them are Bruneian, you know, and you guys are immensely successful. You know, you're one of the thriving businesses in Brunei. So something must, you know, you guys must be doing something right, you know, in having the formula of, you know, getting Bruneian to work. So the biggest myth that I have is, the biggest question I have is, you know, how do you get Bruneian to work hard for you and be so effective in helping your business to grow?
Much like what the industry or the perceptions about Bruneians are lazy and non-performance and whatever, I beg to differ. In fact, given a proper environment, given a proper directions, proper communications, and certain, you know, help them to come out to set their own key performance indicators, and then appraise them properly, nurture them properly, I think they will come out pretty strong. And in fact, I'm particularly proud of the workforce that we have. Andrew, for example, he's one of the great things that we here in and he came to us and not knowing what. So throughout the course of his career path, we kind of expose him from one type of job to another, to then slowly sharpen his skill sets, both in business as well as operation, as well as safety. So he's now not only just he's now being promoted to the assistant manager, um, and looking after partially on the sales side, but mostly on the legal as well as the risks perspective. And on top of it, he helps us to lead and guide people, as well as to look into the different type of businesses that we should be going into in the future.
So business development as well
is a very, very big part of what he does.
Right. And you know, CIC is largely, you know, to my understanding, an engineering company, whereby I would expect the kind of people that you hire are mostly with environment background, with engineering background, but Andrew has got none of those above.
Andrew himself he came from chemical engineering background.
Oh, I thought he was in business background.
No.
Right.
But as a matter of fact, like all businesses, CIC, we have various kind of components to make up this organization.
Mm-hmm.
Largely is about the operations. Okay, that's where the most of our populations, staff populations is. But beside that, we also have facilities, okay, maintenance. We have transportations, logistics services.
Mm-hmm.
We have something called RDTS, Research Development Technical Services. Okay, then on the other side, we have HR management, we have supply chain management, we have finance accounting, we have legal and risks, we have sales business development, we have ICT.
So what I'm hearing, Daniel, is it doesn't matter what my academic background is, I can get a job and be one of the 195 people working for you.
Of course. So it's like any business that you apply for, even in terms of bank. I've been through bank, I've been through the statutory board, I've been through different accounting practices. They're all the same. People are the one that makes a difference.
So I understand that you're heading the company, an engineering company, but you don't have an engineering background yourself, and you're a finance person. How difficult is it an adjustment for you?
It's not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. There's a lot of common sense at the end of everything. All right. Obviously, there will be certain technical, certain jargons that you have to get yourself into it, but you need to sort of start with do I want to learn or not? Mm-hmm. If you choose to, the word is choose. How you choose is the important part. By choosing that path for yourself, you literally sort of begin that journey. And the more that you experience, the more that you want to know more, right? So at the end of the day, whether or not it's engineering or accounting or statutory body, we're talking about a few things. There's a business, there's operations, okay, there's support functions, okay? All that requires certain level of project management, right? So all these skills are unique. And once you have it, it never goes away.
So the fundamentals is important.
Like, sorry?
The fundamental is important.
I always believe in 5 core. One is sales and marketing as one core. I mean, of course, within that is such a huge phase. There's so many things that you can do within the sales and marketing side. The second core is the finance. Okay, whether it's actually accountings, reportings, management, accounting, costing, or whatever, even including financing. All these, I coin them loosely as finance. The third core, it's always the people. In fact, if I must rate it, people comes first.
Right.
Yeah. the human resources is actually one of the biggest core.
And that's the most difficult part, isn't it?
It's actually the most interesting part. If I were to the next one is on the technology, because these days it seems like no matter what you do, technology is the key. Whether you call it a know-how, or you call it equipment, you call it some kind of procedures and whatever, those are know-how, those are technology, you know, for you to do your job better, faster, more productive, more effective, right? Then the last one is actually on the administration part, okay, where all the controls and applications and whatever needs to be well. It's like an elbow, you know. You need that part. That is the admin for you.
Okay.
Without that, your organization will face a great difficulties in, you know, like mobilizing.
Right.
What you want, really what you want is get the attention. The best salesperson in, you know, that I've experienced is those that listen
Right.
attentively to what the customer wants rather than what you're trying to sell. Don't ask what is in for me, but what can I do for you all the time, be it your career or be it your business.
Uh-huh.